Hi YSP staff, this is Rhea again, and this week for third grade in the spring is about Earth and human activity. So this is week 7, and it's the last week before Make Your Own Lab. Okay, so disclaimer, I only got to do the lesson once, I think, because of COVID-19, which is sad, but I'll share what I learned. So this lesson, we talk about weather-related hazards. It can be great to brainstorm some on the board at this point, and great to talk about ways that cities prepare and plan for hazards, since we're going to be doing an activity later on with that. So, my first tip for this lesson is to have water beforehand or to make sure that your classroom has a way that you can get water and then bring a cup or water bottle to use for that. Since you're going to be stimulating like flooding and heavy rain. My second tip is to bring the trays from the lessons from week 6, I think it was a few weeks ago. Maybe it was week 5. And these the silver trays that are pictured here, these trays are perfect because they're a great size for the activity, and then they're easy to keep the water contained so you don't really have to worry about cleaning up that much. The third tip is to encourage teamwork. So at least in the class that I taught, they had trouble with figuring out how things should be arranged in the city with they had maybe 5 people per group. So what I ended up doing is I had each student in charge of putting a few items in the city, and I encouraged them to talk about why they were going to put this in a certain place and how this would work and what wouldn't work and things like that, and I think it ended up working out pretty well. So here are some pictures of students building their cities and putting items in to protect them. And this was a great day to talk about flooding and heavy rain since it was actually raining a lot that day, which rarely happens. But anyways, overall, this lesson works out pretty well, and for the most part, yeah. So what I did was I had the students bring up their cities to the front of the class or to a central location before pouring the water over so everybody could see what worked and what didn't work. And then we had a discussion about that. So, yeah, that is week 7.